Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho, and we're doing a slightly shortened edition today as we produced a Smash Lights segment earlier. So look for that to premiere after the Daily Space Weather. And we're going to start things out by taking a look at the local yellow dwarf, otherwise known as Sol, or the Sun, in 193 angstroms. We still see an increased solar wind speed. We're forecasting some major electron flux, some minor flaring coming out of Sunspot 2770, and it's being listed as a beta class right now, according to NOAA and NASA. We'll analyze it. Next, taking a quick look at the view from Stereo A. To see, what do we see? Well, it's Mercury, yes, emerging real fast from behind Stereo A's coronagraph. Don't worry, folks, it's not a Borg sphere. It's not a Borg cube. It's a planet, a fast one, the fastest one in the solar system, known as Mercury. Next, we're looking at a 1700 angstroms view to show you some active regions in the north, 2 plages, as well as a real sunspot. Whether or not it's beta class, I'm not exactly sure. I thought it looked alpha class, but by the end of the video, we'll let you know categorically. And let's let that play through. I believe we're getting the moon in front of the SDO here. It's causing some eclipsing effects, and it's limited our ability to look at stuff on HelioViewer. Anyway, here are the fields. And you can see this leading umbra here is North Pole, and there are some umbrae behind it, which I think they maybe are South Pole. So there you go. It does appear to be a beta class sunspot, and we'll look at it more in depth by the end of the video. Here's a quick helioviewer.org movie showing you both the LASCO coronagraph, the C2, as well as the magnetogram, and nothing too exciting there. Let's take a look at what the fields have been doing over the past 24 hours there on Sunspot 2770. Not a whole lot of field variation happening. A little bit of mixing on those trailing umbrae there. You can see there's some varying fields in that area. And I think I could go out on a limb and say it's probably a beta class sunspot. The 10.7 centimeter radial flux remains at 73. Here's a view of the last solar minimum sunspot numbers. And here is the 10.7 centimeter radial flux for about the same period there. And it's part of the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard. Thanks for being a Space Weather Enthusiast. And let's just make sure that the stream is live. By the way, if you're viewing live, leave us a nice comment. Or leave us an evil comment. It's all good. Let's take a look at some cosmic ray monitors. Here's Apatit in Barentsburg. And just a few days ago, Apatit was down-ticked. Now we've got a little bigger variation in the past couple days. Still overall slightly down on the past 30 days. Here's Barentsburg. Tiny downtick over the past 30 days there too, having kicked up in the last couple of days. Let's take a look at Athens, Greece, going much farther south. And there you can see the last 30 days of neutron monitoring at Athens, Greece. Some wild striations there. And if you're wondering, yes, it's pressure-corrected data. It's pretty much all pressure-corrected data. And going even farther south, here's Mexico City. A slight downtick over the past 30 days there. And lastly, let's look at Oulu and DOMC Antarctica. There's Oulu, Finland. Thanks again to Ulla Udrup for telling us how to pronounce Oulu. We greatly appreciate that. Leave us a comment if you're still watching the content. Ulla Udrup. Anyway, there's the last 30 days at Oulu. Looking a bit on the flat side there. Here's DOMC Antarctica. Still reporting over the Antarctican winter. And we hope all of the viewers down there are doing well. And we hope your backs are in good shape from all that shoveling. I hear it's a particularly harsh winter in western South America. DOMB Antarctica not sending data. And if you want to monitor cosmic rays yourself, you can view this network of cosmic ray stations. It's links to cosmic ray data. Don't take our word for it. Let's take a look at some X-ray transients from the usual suspects. Here are the transients from Sagittarius A star, and it's in a fairly normal range here. Although it has ramped up in the past 7 years, you can see a slight increase here in the variation. So those are the X-ray transients of the massive radio source at the core of the Milky Way galaxy known as Sagittarius A star. Let's go way off to the right to the Vela pulsar and see what the X-ray transients are looking like from there. A very consistent X-ray source, the Vela pulsar. And here you can see the last couple of weeks. It's in a pretty normal range there as well. And let's take a look at one other commonly shown source on the channel, Cygnus X3, otherwise known as Deneb, the tail of the swan, the massive X-ray binary celestial pole star, having recently come off of its quiescent state and then gone back into a quiescent state. Very quiet right now from Cygnus X3. Barely over the 0 line, and you can see that's way down here. So it's actually kind of near the middle of its range there, but that's what we would call a quiescent state. Always interesting to see what Deneb is doing. Cygnus X3, as it seems to be associated with all sorts of ancient mythology and megalithic sites. KP index is currently at 2, having come off of 2 different sets of geomagnetic unrest here over the past couple of days. And we saw one tiny B-class flare here out of, I'm sure, Sunspot 2770. Not too exciting there. No significant proton flux events. And let's move on to the real-time solar wind. BTBZ is unexciting. Phi angle holding steady around 180 degrees here. Looks like a coronal hole magnetic connection. Current solar wind density 7.25 protons per cubic centimeter, and solar wind speed remains elevated at 509 kilometers per second, and that recent coronal hole wind stream was very fast and quite dense at the leading edge. By the way, we've brought up another one of the instruments here. It's the experimental geoelectric field. And you can find links to this at the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard. It's this one right here. It's the Geoelectric Field 1-minute empirical EMTF 3D model. So this is what we would use to maybe forecast power failures and so on when there's a coronal mass ejection striking. Perhaps that'll come into play at a later date. And I just wanted to familiarize our viewers with that, as there are a lot of interesting instruments. Let's go on to look at the geospace. So here's 4 hours of the magnetosphere movies that we show daily on the channel. If you're wondering what happened, I don't know, a year and a half ago, go watch our channel. We've got 4 hours of data on that. And we haven't missed a day of daily space weather for a couple of years. And there you can see that increased pressure caused by that increased solar wind. Here are going a little closer to home, looking at the ground magnetic perturbations, and just bear with me one moment. I'll bring that back for you there. During this geomagnetic excursion, we find it relevant to look at the changes in the Earth's B field. So the B field is the field that goes through a magnet, folks. It's the toroidal field, not to be confused with the poloidal fields. The fields emanating from the poles, and those two poloidal fields are the ones that determine the toroidal field. Their interaction is indeed the B field. So when we're saying delta B, we mean changes in the Earth's B field, the field that essentially comes out of the Earth's equator, give or take. And again, today's Smash Lights is a separate video. So we talked about all kinds of things. And we are making these videos in order to connect and consult with media organizations and multiply our reach, as we've got a lot of important things to do here in this year of clarity, 2020. Thanks to our patrons, the real source of funding for the content. Please consider becoming a patron and giving Smash staff a raise, as she really needs one. It's patreon.com/smashomash. Visit the other links below the video also, like Subscribestar, there are PayPal links, and all kinds of other things. We do typically stream live to Twitch, as we're doing now. It's twitch.tv/smashomash. If you're viewing on YouTube, please press like and subscribe over there. Press the notification bell and click all notifications. You may even be informed when the videos go up. Thanks to our YouTube subscribers. Please share with your friends, your foes, your science noobs, and your science pros. If you haven't checked out smAshomash.org, we've been working on it on the regs, adding links and so on, such as our affiliate links. So we've become an Amazon affiliate here, and we're advertising a pulse oximeter, L-lysine, methylsulfonylmethane, almond flour. As we move into different realms, we're going to be sharing recipes at later times. Calcium, zinc, and magnesium tablets, and shugu. So perhaps consider taking zinc at nighttime. Now we take magnesium at nighttime because it makes us drowsy. I guess we're sensitive to magnesium. I was not aware that it makes people drowsy. In fact, I've never even heard anybody say it, but we've done it multiple times and noticed that it made us drowsy. So we take it before sleep. It's only $3.78 for 100 caplets, and these feature 77% of your USDA, your USRDA, that's your US recommended daily allowance of calcium, 95% of your USRDA of magnesium, and 227% of your daily zinc. And for all of you scared of COVID, that's a great reason to be ordering this product. Please visit our links. Again, it's smashomash.com/affiliate. Get affiliated with the products that we use. And also, we've got a tube of shugu on the way. Do you have a pair of shoes where the sole's coming off, but the shoe's totally not worn out? Well, shugu works great. It's the original. Skaters have been using it since the 1980s. And I've been using it since the 1980s. You can even re-sole your shoe, basically. And oh my God, we've moved on to the oh my God. The scary, spooky COVID-19 section. We're not going to really talk about it, but we are on BitChute, and if you haven't watched our video about hydroxychloroquine, it's just recently reached 1,000 viewers, so shout out to everybody on BitChute. And the reason that the video is there and not on YouTube is because YouTube demonetized it about an hour after we put it up, so we either set it to private or deleted it entirely, as we are not interested in YouTube's pathetic censorship. By the way, the media has been lying to you, and so has big tech. Watch our Smash Lights video coming out at 6 o'clock this morning. It'll premiere. We'll be viewing it live. And check out the Smash store. It's linkable at smashomash.org as well. It's the Smash store. It's got Smasher Price My First Pandemic t-shirt, leggings. It's in colors. Also, the Smash I've Survived a Global Pandemic. That comes in purple and gold. And we've also got the Mansa shirt and the Mensa shirt. Make America Not Suck Again, Make Earth Not Suck Again. And we've put this in UCI colors, blue, black, red, yellow, and green. There you go. If you want a gold shirt that says Mensa, because you view from someplace besides the U.S., Make Earth Not Suck Again, it's up to you. If you need to reach us for any reason, please visit the smAsho VoIP line number. Send us a text, give us a call, leave a voicemail. Maybe we'll leave an answer if you call, who knows. It's the smAsho VoIP line. It's country code 1, area code 610-936-9799. That's country code 1, area code 610-936-9799. And again, Smash Light segment is coming out at 6 o'clock. Goes magnetometers all over the place, and we are still holding up here in the South Pole current sheet. I mean the North Pole current sheet, rather, shown here in green. And we have not snapped across yet to the South Pole, which is very surprising considering this sunspot being beta class. And this could happen at any moment. It looks like the North Solar Polar Field has strengthened here, as I certainly anticipated us being in the South Pole current sheet like 2 days ago. You can see small chunks of the South Pole current sheet shown here in red. Don't be surprised if this changes suddenly, and if it does, you will see sudden big changes in the GOES magnetometer. We may be snapping back and forth as we speak. Here's a line of sight field plot which shows the B field, that's the sun's B field, in blue. And we see a couple little yanks as this is being yanked up toward sunspot 2770. No surprises there. Again, keep in mind the magnetic environment can change with no warning. We've seen the highest levels of electron flux we've seen since early April, and we recently flirted with warning levels yesterday. I'm expecting this to be even higher today. I expect us to get well into warning levels today. So expect some errors on your GPS. Here is the total electron content, and this is the entire air column here, all the way from the thermosphere, where the GPS satellites are, all the way down to ground level. And we don't see super high electron flux levels yet. Don't be surprised to see this rise to very high levels, and expect some significant GPS errors around the equator, especially around noontime. Now, here you can see the relativistic electron forecast is to get as high as, I think that says 10 to the 9th. So we're expecting very, very high levels of electron flux here as forecasted by NASA and NOAA. Let's look at just one layer here. It's just the ionosphere layer. And it's looking pretty normal here, nothing too exciting to write home about. There is the latest image at 8 o'clock Universal Time, a little discharged on the sun-facing side. Here's where planets are. There's where things will be in a week, as Mercury breaks the pattern of all the planets on one side of the sun, all at the same time. And since there are so many planets on the same side, you might be able to see Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Venus, and the Moon all at once if you're up before dawn. And there's also a meteor shower going to peak in the next week, the Perseids. We'll talk about that at a later time. Next, let's look at earthquakes. We saw a few just under a 6 magnitude, none over a 6 magnitude. And by the way, the explosion at Beirut, Lebanon was so big that it showed up as a 3.3 magnitude earthquake. And again, this was felt as far away as the island of Cyprus. Again, check out our Smash Lights section. Today we did an exclusive, as opposed to making it as part of the daily space weather videos. Let's just hit refresh here. And go up the list. We did see some deep quakes. We're only going to report oddities or quakes over a 6 magnitude here. And there's a deep quake on Mainland, Alaska. It's only a 2.8 magnitude, but it's at 140 kilometers depth. Here's a deep quake at Peru. It's a 4.3 magnitude at 120 kilometers. And just going to scroll up the list here. Bear with me one moment. And here's a deep quake at Papua New Guinea near Finschhafen. It's a 5.4 magnitude at 172 kilometers. Here's a deep quake at Denali National Park. So it's a bunch of deep quakes kicking off in Alaska there. A 4.9 deep quake at Vanuatu. And let's move on to volcanoes. And just bear with me one moment, folks. All right, everything looks kosher. Nishino-shima's exploding. That's in the volcanic islands of Japan. It's producing a 13,000 foot above sea level ash plume. Please don't fly your ultralight homemade kit helicopter over Nishino-shima's caldera. Tokono's exploding, also flight level 070 there. That's 7,000 feet. Popocatépetl, no report of volcanic ash. Please don't pole vault the caldera. It could be unhealthful. Sangay exploding, flight level 230 or 23,000 feet there. Revenador exploding, flight level 150 or 15,000 feet there. Sabancaya exploding, producing sporadic puff emissions and a volcanic ash plume of 23,000 feet. Please do not attempt to do a back handspring or a tightrope walk over the caldera. Check out some of the Isaias rain reports. Wynwood, Pennsylvania received 8.59 inches. So we actually got more rain in some spots than the Tropical Tidbits forecast, which showed basically 4 inches across most of eastern Pennsylvania. We saw massive flooding, and we covered it in the Daily Smash Lights video. Weather.gov map is looking a little bit more calm, and there's some hurricane local statements for New England. Let's take a look at the pressure cells here on windy.com, who has a great mobile app, by the way. I used it yesterday. and I was barely able to make it home from work. I had to use Google Maps traffic to figure out where all the floods were. Here's the GFS forecast for where we expect things to be at 12 noon my time tomorrow. Again, windy.com. Check out their mobile app if you haven't. It could save your you-know-what. Next, taking a look at nullschool.net. And pardon my test pattern, I like to check the life of the stream, and the comments. Check out the extreme meridional jet stream flow taking place over the western world. As the jet streams are all over the place and barely even coherent as a jet stream, we've got air masses blowing east to west and all kinds of oddities. Let's look at the eastern world. There are the jet streams of the eastern world, and again, all over the place. Highly incoherent. Pretty concentrated in the southern hemisphere winter. Next, taking a look at lightningmaps.org. I like to use it when I hear thunder. And we've got some lightning. Hey, Tulsa, you could be in the crosshairs. Hey, Edmond, Oklahoma. Hey, Enid, there's thunder rolling in. Lots of it. And if you're in Oklahoma City, go outside and look to the northwest. You may see sprites up there. Lightningmaps.org can tell you where they may be. It's a real-time lightning map, folks. And yes, you can forecast thunder and convince your foes that you're Thor or Odin. Next, looking at water vapor maps for Europe and Africa. Water vapor maps for the Far East and for Oceania. Please leave us a comment if you're viewing from the Orient. Water vapor map for the Americas. This is part of the NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellite Suite, and by the way, it's fantastic. Here's a U.S. Doppler radar map, and this is on Weather Underground, by the way. It's wunderground.com. And we see some heavy storms about to sweep across Oklahoma, and those look like they're moving southeast. Here's that storm cell in terms of the cloud layer, and we like to look at the NASA GOES shortwave radiation map, which shows us where clouds are likely to be when we can't see them with the visible satellite. Here's a water vapor map, and indeed we will take a look at the Oklahoma Panhandle region. This will give all of you folks in the track of these storms a little better concept of where these things are moving, as the water vapor does not lie. So the water vapor map will show you water vapor not even condensed onto clouds. And you can see some massive pressure gradients there. If you're flying a plane across these regions, expect some turbulence, to say the least. Hey, Smash team. Thanks for tuning in. Allow me to vanish. Thanks for leaving comments, etc. Please share on your social media. Tell your friends, tell your foes, tell your science noobs and your science pros. Thanks for flying American Smashways. Please keep your head and arms inside the Smash plane at all times, as we've got some bonus features. And yes, the SDOs look a little funky, and it's because of eclipsing effects, I think because of the moon. We're going to show you the colorized magnetogram first. And there you can see Sunspot 2770. If these are the umbrae that are trailing, that is indeed a beta class sunspot, and I think it may be the case. Indeed, that is a beta class sunspot. So the likelihood of solar flares has gone up a little bit here as a result of that trailing opposite umbral polarity. Here's a great 48-hour video from the SDO. Some filaments forming up there north of the sunspot, as well as some in place over in this region, increasing the probability of coronal mass ejections as we got a bunch of plasma. So keep an eye on that sunspot, and when I say ion, well, the pun is intentional. Thanks for tuning in once again, folks. Welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Visit the links below the video. Get yourself some merch. Perhaps purchase some products on Amazon. It's smashomash.com/affiliate. We are out. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink, and if you do, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back and that covidiously absent from wherever you at.